I really enjoyed Virgin Soul. It has a great cast of charming characters as well as having a great plot that you can get invested in. When I finally caught up with the anime, I decided to watch Genesis, which is the original. Even with only considering the first 12 episodes of Virgin Soul, I have to say that I actually prefer it over Genesis. Not only did it reintroduce all the previously established world elements, they also gave a much more personal look into it. Even though both series takes place in the same world, they explored it in different ways. While the cast of Genesis goes from place to place fighting whatever monster that comes their way, the cast of Virgin Soul spends most of its time in one city trying to defeat the Human King. Even though either are valid means in their own way, I preferred the way it was done in Virgin Soul because of the greater degree of depth it gave to the places that they went to. In Genesis, each place is treated merely as a backdrop for the events happening and where the characters play around. Places like the town of White are lack any significance or any traits unique to it, other than being the place where the characters first met or where they fought a monster. The dominions of the demons and gods were only used to explain where the immortals spent most of their time in. The city of Vanity was merely used as a fortress and only seen from the point of view of its defenders. Besides their aesthetics, all of them lacked personality beyond what was the bare minimum required by the plot, and treated merely as a pit stop for the final destination. In Virgin Soul, the capital was a character in itself. It seems to be inspired from the cities of Croatia, with its sprawling clay-tiled roof houses, a colosseum dominating the landscape, and an island next to it. Even though the capital of either cities should be roughly of the same size, the one from Virgin Soul felt significantly bigger, like what a real metropolis should be. From the rivers that cut its streets, to the many shops and stands, you could spend a whole day exploring and still won't be able to see everything. Its history is pretty much etched to its cityscape, with the slums acting as a reminder of the demons who were enslaved to build it, with the old neglected churches symbolizing the shift in the ideology of the kingdom, due to the king turning his back against the gods. Besides the buildings, the way they treated their denizens were different. In Genesis, the ordinary citizens felt more like stage props than living people. Besides showing strong disapproval of the execution of St. John, they were given a mere passive role and never given much attention. In Virgin Soul, the people had a personality. Some were loyal to the king, some were loyal to the gods, some were just trying to survive. When the Bahamut started its rampage in Genesis, I didn't feel the gravity of the situation that it was supposed to communicate because I never really knew the people living there. In Virgin Soul, the main characters regularly interacted with them. Some even tried to defend Nina from accusations of treason. You grew to at least care about their well-being. Seeing them struggle even with minor skirmishes got more of an emotional response than the more visual destruction of the city in Genesis. By having the people be more of a factor, it gave a sense of complexity to how the king governs his dominion. It made it necessary for him to consider the opinions of the commoners to keep himself in power, which the previous king failed to show. He tries to keep the mob happy by sponsoring gladiatorial matches. He also tried to convince St. John to join his side in order to sway the more religious citizens, who were shown to still have a presence in the city. Besides the humans, the demons were also given more character. Instead of just being depicted as terrifying monsters, they were given a diverse set of roles. Some were strong gigantic beings, and some were weak little children. Some demons were forced into gladiatorial combat, and some were just simple slaves for everyday life. Some serve as bodyguards, and even prostitutes. However, some still hold to past glories and are willing to fight for it. Virgin Soul was a significant improvement from Genesis because it made the world feel alive. A world in which we could believe that the main characters are merely just cogs in the wheel, and it would still be as interesting even without them. As of the making of this video, the anime hasn't finished yet. I hope that it lands its ending.